Right, we're nearly there. Question 5. Make sure you've left yourself at least 30 minutes. Seriously, you need 30 minutes to do a decent piece of writing. And then secondly, remember the strategies you've been taught by your teachers. So for my students, and for many, I think, across the college, we focus on fires. Get an example of each into your writing. I have a backup with my students, which is deforest, which can be used as well. Again, just more examples of these language features or ways of writing in there is going to get you the marks in the content section. So what I'm going to do here is not write it, I'm going to plan it. I'm going to show you if I was doing this, how I would plan it out. So I need to read the statement. And there's a theme running through here, isn't there? Cars are noisy, dirty, smelly, and downright dangerous. It's very serious. They should be banned from all towns and city centres, allowing people to walk and cycle in peace. Okay. So I need to write about my point of view of this. Do I agree that cars should be banned from towns and city centres? Or do I think we should find a balanced way of them being cars and cyclists in towns and city centres? And it needs to be a letter to the Minister of Transport. Okay, so when I lay out my piece of writing, I'm very likely to start it with Dear Minister for Transport. Use paragraphs as usual, as you would with any piece of writing, and I might finish it with yours sincerely and put my name. They are really the most basic ways of showing that you know how a letter should be formatted and would be good enough for a grade 4. More importantly is the content. So I'm going to look at this first part of the statement. Cars are noisy, dirty, smelly, and downright dangerous. And I need to do a little plan for that. Cars, smelly, dangerous. And what I need from this, have I decided on my perspective? Okay, maybe that will come when I. So can I create a fact that talks about cars being smelly and dangerous? Well, the fact for smelly that I have is that modern day cars do not smell, usually, because, and here's some technical jargon, they all have to now be low emissions, which means all the gunk's taken out the petrol and it isn't smelly anymore. Okay, so that's suggesting that I don't agree with banning. But this idea of dangerous, well, in all fairness, modern day cars can do ridiculous speeds. Ridiculous is a nice ambitious word, isn't it? Speeds. That's their opinions at the moment, but the low emission is a fact. And then if I put a figure in there that cars can do over 100 miles per hour, that would go in there. There might be something from the text, because we've just read about bloody text before, didn't we? So we could go back to that if we want to think about any of our other fires coming up. Our next one is incident. Well, actually, we read an incident, didn't we, on source A, which was about cars driving really close to cyclists, not caring about their safety. So looks like, I've got cars that can speed too much. I've got drivers that don't care about cyclist safety. Looks like I'm going down the line of maybe we should ban cars. Rhetorical question. Okay, should we ban cars? That's where I'm at, isn't it? Should we ban cars from city centres? I'm still working out the answer myself, aren't I? So that's a good rhetorical question to have. E stands for expert opinion. Okay, so remember, just make them sound like they know what they're talking about. So Professor Buxton, why not, of Derby University has conducted research that suggests, what am I going to suggest? This is really going to pinpoint my point of view now, whether I suggest that the research showed that there's not that, cars aren't that dangerous, or if I get my research to show that cars are dangerous. I think I'm going for are dangerous. So has conducted research that suggests that accidents in the city centre have increased by 50%. That's loads, isn't it? Loads. Okay. Statistic. I mean, I've got a statistic here with this 50%, but let's add another one in. Let's get an example of everything in there. I could even do another expert opinion if I wanted to back up this idea. I kind of know what my point of view is going to be now. So I could even talk about Chief Constable Jones states that 150 people died in city centres last year. I'm really now kind of evidencing the fact that cars are dangerous, aren't I? So I've got my perspective now. I've got my point of view. I need to stick with that, don't I? And there's my first big paragraph planned. I now need to do a second paragraph talking about banning them and how it would make it available to cycle in peace. So let's do another one. Same procedure, banning cars cycling in peace. Okay, so let's make up a fact. So another way that I've encouraged my students to introduce facts is a recent survey suggests that 60% of cyclists avoid city centres because of the cars. Okay, there's my fact. An incident then. So we've already had the incident in London from source A. I could kind of adapt an incident from source B, couldn't I? Where some road users see cyclists as a sport to chase them. So let's just nick that incident there so it could just be a friend of mine was recently chased on his bike by a car driver. Remember, in your incidents, don't make them really long-winded, just nice, short, to the point incidents. Rhetorical question, would you feel safe on a bike cycling in the city centre? Expert opinion. So another expert opinion might be, okay, we've had a university professor, we've had a policeman, we're looking at this idea of cycling in peace. So why do you know any famous cyclists? You could, Chris Broome, he's a cyclist. So Chris Broome, and he's an Olympic medal winner for cycling, has said, right, what's he going to say about cycling? He absolutely loves it. He probably wants everyone to cycle more. Has said, cycling changed my life. Shall we add to that? It's not just a sport for me. It's not just a sport. It's a way of life. Oh, God. That's a pretty big statement, isn't it? But, you know, it's going to catch the eye of the examiner. Expert opinions done. Statistic. Okay, let's get another statistic in there. So, of 50 young people at Derby College who were asked, would you cycle in a city centre if there were no cars? 40 said yes. Bish bash bosh. Okay, 2 huge plans there, and now I simply need to take my examples of fires and make sure that I write it up so I sound like I'm talking to somebody. So, you know, dear Minister for Transport, you know, what would be a good way to start a letter? Let's go for the rhetorical question. Should we ban cars from our city centres? And then now I can put my evidence in there, my different ideas, making sure that I'm keeping to my point of view with it. And it sounds like I'm addressing it to the Minister for Transport. Okay, you've got those plans there. You could have a go. That's taken us 12 minutes to plan in great detail, and I bet I could write that up in at least 15. That would leave me some time to go through and proofread it, making sure I've got a capital letter at the start of all my sentences, and that my sentences are clearly identified with a full stop. If you can add any more punctuation marks in there, that would be great. Good luck.